I'm going to show you how to create your very first character on D&D Beyond. Hello there, Dungeons and Dragons players and DMs, past, present, and future. Players, this one is for you, but DMs, keep a close eye on this, because your players might need some assistance. You just started your very first Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and now you need to create your character. Once you're logged into your D&D Beyond account, you'll go to your profile, and you'll click on Characters. Once you are here, you'll be going to create a character. On the free version of D&D Beyond, if you haven't subscribed, you get 6 characters that you can create. But because you're going to be playing your first character, we're going to create that. Also, as a side note, always make sure you have a backup character, but don't worry about that so much. I'm sure your Dungeon Master won't plan to kill you on the first try. Once you have clicked on Create a Character, first is the standard. This is the one we will be using to customize our character a little bit. But there are other ways of creating your character that you can choose, and feel free to explore that in your own time. But the following options are: the pre-made characters is a bunch of characters that have been pre-made that you can select as part of your campaign should you not feel comfortable creating your own character right from the start. You have a quick build selection that will build a character for you at level 1. And then random. Let the fate of D&D decide what your character is going to look like. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go to Start Building. And if you are a beginner, you can hit the beginner show help text. So we're going to do that. We're going to see what D&D Beyond does to help you build your very first character. So once loaded, you're going to name your character. Now this can be anything. If you do struggle, refer to your player's handbook. There's generally a lot of names for your particular character. Or if you're struggling to find a name, there's a name generator somewhere on Google that you can use. But I'm just going to call this character, don't ask. Once you've named your character, you'll hit next. Now, as you can see here, there's a lot of sources for your campaign. Now, the Dungeon Master will let you know which rule set they will be using. The rule set has been updated in 2024, but there may be some legacy options, the previous handbook in 2014, that the Dungeon Master might want to use. So they will let you know which rule set they will be using. However, we are going to keep everything, as a lot of Dungeons and Dragons campaigns have a lot of homebrew content to it. Once you scroll down, you'll see partner content, and you can see there's a lot of partners over here. We're just going to keep everything ticked, but you can see there's Minecraft as well, so that's how broad Dungeons and Dragons is. You can play a Minecraft-based D&D campaign. Dice rolling we will be enabling, because dice rolling on the platform, should you not have dice yet, is an easy way to click on a little button on your sheet, and that'll allow you to roll. I will be choosing optional class features and customizing our origin, because some of the origins might not fit your character too much, but your Dungeon Master will go through with you should you get stuck on that. Advancement type. The 2 advancement types is XP based and milestone. Milestone meaning if your Dungeon Master says you've completed 3 tasks and now you level up, that will be milestone based. And experience, well, the amount of monsters and exploring you do will give you experience. These 2 things differ, but your Dungeon Master will let you know how that works. Hit point type. Now you can use D&D Beyond's fixed hit point system, but I have found in my personal experience that sometimes it doesn't roll the HP correctly and could lower your HP. HP is rolled and adds your constitution or your other stats depending on what class you play, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. So I generally like to use manual, and you'll see a pop-up come up. I'm going to use the manual hit points. This is my preference. However, DMs and players out there, if you like the fixed thing, go for it. We want feats and multi-class requirements ticked, because some people out there might want to multi-spec, and it could be really cool for your character. Feats need to be enabled, because sometimes your character build works with certain feats. Now, if that's not enabled, you're not going to have a very good time. Level scaled spells. This is just spells that scale with your level, and yes, we want to see that, because some spells scale with level, so like healing spells or certain damage spells scale with your level. You want that on. Encumbrance. Generally, I don't use encumbrance. My players should use their heads and go, hey, listen, I can't be carrying all this stuff. Your DM normally would give you a bag of holding if they are feeling generous, but if not, encumbrance, like any other RPG, you can't carry everything until your knees buckle. So I don't like using encumbrance, but I will let my players know, hey, listen, you're carrying too much. You need to get rid of some stuff. So if you want to use the encumbrance, you can. And then with that, you can ignore the coin weight. Coins aren't that heavy, but if you're going to carry around a sack of 5,000 gold pieces, that is going to be pretty heavy. So be careful about that one. After you've gone through all the nitty-gritties, press next. Now in this next part, we are going to be picking a class. You can multi-class, that's always fun, but for your first character, I would highly suggest you stick to one character. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to understand the mechanics of your class and what kind of build you want to make. Now there's quite a few classes, and they do have updated rules. You will see here that there's a 2024 player's handbook. There's the list of classes and some changes, and if you scroll down, there's the core rules of 2014. So each class does have something different, and if you would like to play the Blood Hunter, that is a Critical Role exclusive, you can click a Blood Hunter. Would not recommend it for first character. That's for a little bit more experience, but hey, don't let me stop you from playing a very difficult class. So in this case, I want to play a bard, and for players out there, the unspoken rule, I'll let you know a little bit later, but there's one unspoken rule. So if you're going to play a bard, your DM will make you do something. Check it out at the end of the video. So once I've selected my bard, it is going to give you an overview of what you can expect for the next couple of levels. So I've got bard traits, bardic inspiration, spellcasting, expertise, and I'm just going to scroll here. You can stop the video at any point should you want to play a bard, but I will go into each class specifically in a later video. But D&D Beyond will give you an apt description of every single class, and if you like the class you see, just click on Add Class. I'm not going to show you every single bard mechanic here. I'm just going to build the character quickly, and then once we start building a character from scratch, we will go through that. So I'm just going to add some stuff here. Right, so we've got our class features. We've set our class features, and you can see what is available at higher levels, all the way up to level 20. Once you are done, you can see here there is a Manage HP. Now, D&D Beyond has already rolled my character's HP. I haven't put any stats. The standard is 12 HP. That's more or less okay for what your class is, but if you're playing a barbarian, you should have a lot higher HP, considering that you're supposed to be a tank. After you're done, we'll hit next. So certain backgrounds will give your character certain ability scores, which helps with your character's stats and build later on. So you want to make sure that your background is key and well done in case you goof on your build. But your Dungeon Master will be there to help you. DMs. Right, so once I've opened my background, I can choose any of these backgrounds, and as again you see core and 2014 rules, this is where your Dungeon Master will help you, because maybe they want some of those 2014 rules instead of the new 2024 rules. I'm gonna go with a criminal because why not? And then I can use all of these things to do a couple of proficiencies and see what I am fairly much proficient in. After you're done customizing, you'll want to go next. And now you're going to choose your species. Now, each species has its own traits, has its own bonuses, has its own negatives. So it really is up to you what you want to play and how you want to play it. But certain traits are really good. Maybe you want to be seeing in the dark, so maybe you don't want to be playing as a filthy human. After that, you'll click on next, and you'll go now to your species. Now you can go with all the sources. Currently, I've got all the sources here, and you can see I've got the core rules for dwarf, elf, halfling, and human. I've got the expanded rules. We've got deep gnomes, genasi, Goliath. There's a lot that you can go here. And then obviously your 2014, I know there are people out there that want to play Dragonborn, so that's where you'll find your Dragonborn stuff as well. Once you've decided on it, I'm just going to go with a dwarf, and then you'll click on next. You'll see every single special trait and species trait I have, including my speed, dark vision, and whatever comes with this. Also languages. This is where you will customize your character's languages depending on what class you want to play. But this will give you a nice detailed overview of what your race does and what benefits your race has for your character. Once you've gone through that, you can click on next. And now this is where your ability points are going to come in. Remember that video I showed you where we rolled our ability points? If you haven't, link in the description. Go check that out before you do this. If you want to spend points and you haven't manually rolled, it will tell you here that you've got 3 different methods. So this is a useful and helpful guide from D&D Beyond themselves to help you sort your stuff. Once you know that, you'll click on next, And now I'm going to add my rolls that I did. So under your generation method, I'm just going to go with the manual. And because I'm a bard, I'm not going to be too particularly strong. Over here, I'm going to put 10 into strength. Now, once you've done that, you will see here under your score calculations what your actual total scores will be. And if there are any set modifiers that come through there, you will add it over here. So like override score or other modifier, your dungeon master can chop and change your stats if they feel you are slightly overpowered or slightly underpowered. This is where dungeon masters control and help you say, okay, listen, you're a little bit too charismatic. I'm going to take some points away, but we'll add some more into strength because you can hardly lift a leaf. Once that is all done, you'll hit next. And then we're going to start with our equipment. You have to make sure about a couple of things here when you do set your equipment. So once you hit next, it's going to give you some starting equipment. Now you can skip all of that. That's just a standard way of giving you some equipment so that you don't have to go through the nitty-gritties of adding equipment to your character. So in this case, I'm just going to have some leather armor and I'm going to choose some bagpipes and boom. Now I also have criminal starting equipment, and this is your background character as well. So this is very important when you choose your background that you are going to have some equipment regarding that as well. Now, once I've added that and I click on add starting equipment, it's going to go to my current inventory. Make sure to equip the stuff that you need. If you don't wear your armor, so you can see I've got leather armor. If you don't click on wear, currently your person is wearing no armor, which is dangerous for you because the standard armor class is 10, and just about everything under the sun, including a sneeze from a fairy, will hit you. So make sure you wear your things. You also have to make sure that you are wielding your weapons. So in this case, I'm not really wielding a weapon, so to speak, but I will wield my dagger. This is where you are going to use and manage your equipment. Now you can always get rid of stuff here. You can add stuff, especially if you're a ranger class and you need to get some arrows. This is where you'll add and manage those equipment. So once you've got that all sorted, you'll go on next, and now you can view your character sheet. And my character sheet shouldn't look too bad, but it also shouldn't look too good because I've rushed this. But here is big old Henry's character sheet, and this is where everything is. Now, if you haven't checked out the character sheet, link in the description. You can go and check that out. This is what your character sheet will look like, and your dungeon master will guide you. Now, I have made a bard. If you've watched till the end, the unspoken rule your dungeon master will make you do is if you are a bard and you cast bardic inspiration, you must either sing or recite a poem to inspire those around you. You don't have to follow the rule, but it is an unspoken rule of Dungeons & Dragons. So fellow bards out there, be as charismatic as you can and inspire those around you so that they don't die. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was informative, and if it was, do consider leaving a like, subscribing for more Dungeons & Dragons content. Let me know what you plan to make your very first character in Dungeons & Dragons. I'm super excited to hear what your character is going to be and how they are going to look. Let me know, and until next time, may the dice roll good.